Look, we gotta go mine. We gotta go mine.
Luck is a pretty strange thing, isn't it? A string of bad luck can absolutely ruin your day. You miss the bus, you get puddle splashed by a cab, your waiter gets the wrong order. You know, all that stuff that pisses you off bit by bit. But on the flip side, a stroke of good luck can not only change the outcome of your day, but change the outcome of entire lives. Imagine finding a winning lottery ticket in the trash, or stumbling across a $100 million painting at a garage sale. Well, it's happened, and sometimes in the weirdest of places. Let's check out some of life's Easter eggs, shall we? Grab the popcorn and let's dive into 15 ridiculously expensive things that people discovered in the most peculiar spots. First up, let's kick things off with potentially the greatest stroke of luck in the history of mankind. Not only did an elderly man by the name of Edward St. John stumble across a winning lottery ticket back in October of 2005 in Blackstone, Massachusetts, but he did so while scrounging for goodies in the dumpster. He came away with a winning Hold'em poker ticket with a claim to, ready for this, $1 million. Apparently, the guy who lost the winning ticket, a Kevin Donovan, tried to claim his winnings, but the big corporate peeps were like, nope, not without the physical ticket, little man. Wahaha! Eventually, St. John and Donovan came to a legal agreement to split the cash. Over in the land of croissants, berets, and frog's legs, a family was mourning the loss of their elderly relative when they discovered that she owned an old, abandoned apartment. Oh, that's only the beginning, though. When cleaning it up, they came across a rare-as-hell painting that they shoveled off for $2.5 million. The story goes that the painting was of Martha de Florian, who used to live in the apartment around the turn of the 20th century, and it even came with a handwritten certificate of authenticity. No matter how you may feel about Michael Jackson, it's impossible to deny that his music was revolutionary. From Thriller to Beat It, Billie Jean, and I'm starting with the man in the mirror, he produced countless mega hits over the years. So when a couple of treasure hunters stumbled across an abandoned storage unit that contained over 250 previously unreleased tracks by the King of Pop, they hit the freaking jackpot. There hasn't been a solid figure stated for their value, but the discovery was easily worth hundreds of millions. Even though there are plenty of TV shows that scrounge through the old units, our next find was purely accidental. Over in San Jose back in 2011, a lucky man who wanted to keep his name under wraps put up the winning bid of $1,100 in a blind auction for a Rubbermaid storage facility. What did he find inside? A real-life Pikachu in a basket full of Pokeballs. Nah, just kidding. It was a boring plastic tub, stuffed with $500,000 worth of gold and silver and super rare pirate-style coins. Congratulations, Mr. Anonymous. Now you'll never have to worry about forking out an extra $2 for guacamole at Chipotle ever again. Time for number 11. Flea markets are weird places, right? Even though there's a lot of hoarder junk to weave through, there are certainly gems waiting to be uncovered if you dive deep enough. Back in 1998, a dude bought a $4 framed painting somewhere out in Pennsylvania's Farmville land. He sold that same $4 painting 2 years later for a return of $2.42 million. And then it was resold another 9 years later for over $8 million. Can some smart cookie with a calculator work out that percentage increase, please? So what was the painting? Well, it was one of the 24 known copies of the original 1776 American Declaration of Independence. Hot damn, that's cool. All right, following up our flea market find, we've got a thrift store discovery that'll blow your mind. Hey, that rhymed. Hey, so did that. Poet and I didn't even know it. Anyway, so back in 2007, a college student living in Berlin, Germany bought a couch with a pull-out bed for her apartment for $215. Cause, well, she wasn't too keen to sleep on the floor. To each their own. However, most beds don't come with a 10 by 12 inch painting hidden inside. So lo and behold, when she gave the bed a whirl, she was pretty confused by the whole shindig. Well, it turns out that the painting was from the 1600s, and it was painted by a friend of a famous Venetian painter named Carlo Saracini. Not only did she sell the painting, dubbed Preparation for Escape to Egypt, for $27,630, but she was also able to sleep a little more comfortably thereafter. Anybody remember that Colombian dude named Pablo Escobar? Yeah, well, it's safe to say that he wasn't exactly on everybody's good side.
Where are you going with this, Mr. the Richest Narrator?
Well, Escobar had a 30,000 square foot mansion in Miami, which was purchased back in 2017 by a dude by the name of Christian de Bedouare. As you can only imagine, it was just a matter of time before the new owners would stumble across something A, illegal, or B, expensive. They were digging up parts of the land when they found a locked safe. And while they weren't actually able to open it, it can only be assumed that the contents were either millions millions worth of cold hard cash or a ton of icing sugar worth a few million of its own, if you know what we mean. Escobar isn't the only Colombian thing we're going to talk about today. Nope. Long story short, there was a Spanish Navy ship that sank off the coast of Cartagena in 1708. Think like your classic pirate-looking ship. 3 masts, Captain Jack Sparrow, and everything. The ship was loaded to the brim with solid gold, plenty of coins, a first-release copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and a Gucci limited edition designer handbag. Not all of those things are accurate, so please don't beat us up over it. It was just the gold and the coins. Anyway, the ship was eventually found in 2015, and the contents on board were calculated to be worth anywhere between 4 and 7 billion crisp $1 bills. Hot damn, you guys want to share? Speaking of random expensive things found on the ocean floor, how does a $600 million Egyptian Sphinx sound? Yep, so you know that famous dude Alexander the Great from like way back before we had iPhones and all that jazz? Well, he created the city of Alexandria, which would end up eventually being swallowed by the sea. Then, yonks later, back in 1992, a fellow by the name of Frank Godio decided to search the ocean floor, and to his wild surprise, he stumbled across the Sphinx, which amazingly was still mostly preserved after so long underwater. Our next item might not be as old, but it's certainly worth a ton of cash, that's for sure. Say hello to the $1.1 million Ferrari Enzo. So apparently some dude in Dubai just totally forgot about the supercar and left it to rot in the middle of the scorching hot Middle Eastern desert. Of course, it wasn't too long before someone else eventually stumbled across it. Finding super-duper expensive cars abandoned in Dubai is actually pretty common, unfortunately. In Dubai, unpaid debt or giving someone a check that bounces is a criminal offense that can result in jail time. So instead of risking time behind bars, plenty of folks leave their fancy cars and houses and flee the country. The Ferrari Enzo, however, was a particularly special discovery. Sliding into number 5 of expensive things found in funky places is an Orange County, California thrift store painting that turned out to be worth millions. The story goes that a lady by the name of Terry Horton, of no relation to our favorite Canadian coffee chain Tim, bought what she thought was a massive, ugly painting back in 1992 as a gag gift for one of her friends. The friend thought it was stupid and far too big for her house, so Horton took it back home with her. Fast forward, and it's been proven that the ugly artwork is actually an authentic Jackson Pollock, potentially worth $100 or so million dollaroonies. Get this though, Horton has refused to sell it yet, even with an offer of $9 million. She says, "Oh no, I'm not greedy, I just want a fair price for it." Lady, it paid $5 for it, you're killing us here. Alrighty, numeral cuatro. We're planting our feet in California for the next wild discovery as well. A motherlode of coins found in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. So the story goes that a couple was walking their doggo when they saw a rusty canister poking out of the ground. They went to check it out, and what was in it? Well, we already told you. So were you paying attention? That's right, coins. But not your ordinary dimes and nickels, no, no, no. These were $20 gold coins dating back to the 1890s. On face value, they were worth about $28,000. But that was back in the 1800s. These days, the buttload of coins is worth close to $10 million. We're not sure what the correlation is with the absurd good luck in the state of California, but that's where our next item hails from as well. Back in 2000, just after Y2K didn't destroy the planet, an ordinary dude named Rick Norsigian was drawn in by a few images of Yosemite National Park at a garage sale. He had a hunch that the pics might have been taken by the iconic nature photographer Ansel Adams, so he took the risk and shelled out $45 for the lot of negatives. Ricky Boy ended up asking some experts, and they confirmed his thought. The images were Ansel Adams originals, and they were worth over $200 million to be precise. As the saying goes, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And another man struck gold at yet another garage sale, this one in New York. It wasn't an Ansel Adams masterpiece this time, rather a mega old and super duper expensive bowl. Yeah, a bowl, like the one you eat your KD from. Except this particular bowl was over 1,000 years old and from the Northern Song Dynasty in China. The New York family bought it for $3 measly and sold it at an auction for a final bid of, wait for it, $2.2 million? Holy freaking hell. All right, folks, we've reached the end. Sliding into number 1 is another piece of art. This one also found at the center of the universe, New York City. A lovely lady by the name of Elizabeth Gibson was strolling down the streets of Manhattan one morning when she came across a painting discarded on the curb. She decided it wasn't overly terrible, and the initial sight of it didn't make her want to throw up, so she took it home with her. Later on, Gibson would discover that the painting was actually an authentic masterpiece, Tres Personajes by Rufino Tamayo. She sold the piece of art for $1 million redues and lived happily ever after.